Hey everyone, my name is Mutis, and I welcome you to today's tutorial on how to set up essential tools for kickstarting your journey as software developer. Without further ado, let's get started. First, we will need to set up our integrated development environment, in short IDE. And IDE provides all the tools necessary for coding, debugging, and testing your software. So we have quite few options like Visual Studio Code or WebStorm and many more to choose from, but those two would be the most popular in the web development sphere. So basically, if you would like to download Visual Studio Code, you could go to code.visualstudio.com and download whichever version of operating system you are using. In my case, that's Windows, so I'm just going to download Windows version and going to install it. So basically accepting with terms and conditions, clicking next, next install, and that will do the installation. An alternative would be a JetBrains tool. So in jetbrains.com/webstorm, you could actually download a WebStorm version. So as it indicates, you could get a free 30 days trial. So it's paid tool. I'm kind of used to use WebStorm a lot. I do have license, so I'm going to use that for majority of the series, but it is not required in any way, shape, or form. So all it does basically allows you to edit the code, but functionality is pretty much the same on both. The difference would be that Visual Studio Code is a more customizable tool, so you can find plugins and configuration styles which you like and want to use, and just apply those. So you can really tailor it for your needs, while WebStorm gives a bit more of configured feeling, so you could actually just focus on development itself. It also does have quite few integrations and tools which helps a lot when working professionally on software development, but again, it's not necessary in any way to actually use one over another. So in Visual Studio Code, when we're starting up a new project, we do have fairly similar views. So we can create new file, open file, or folder if we have a project or something like that. So we're just going to create a new file. Let's call it, I don't know, default.html. It will ask where I want to save that, so I'm just going to save in this folder, and it just gives us an editor. So if I would start to type like HTML, it finishes up the tags, which we will discuss in the future on what this means in general, and so on. So it gives all those colorings and stuff which will help you out to actually do the coding easier. It also has source control, which we will discuss later on, and debugging and extensions and so on and so forth. Now, in comparison, if we are using a WebStorm and I want to start a new project, I would choose the default location for sake of simplicity. It actually allows you to choose what type of project you want to start with. So in this case, it does not matter, since I'm just going to show you the tool set, but this is allows you to start up the project faster, because you don't need to set up some of the tools because it's pre-set up, so it's tailored and ready for development out of the box basically. That said, it's not that difficult to do any of those things, so it's just for convenience per se. So if I going to create an empty project, that would open a new folder, and that's that. So if I want, I can create a new file. Let's call it also default HTML, and that would create an empty file here. So if I start writing HTML, this does exactly the same thing, just coloring is slightly different. That said, both of those has ability to actually change all the colors and font sizes, fonts itself in any way you want. So both of those can be tailored in the way you actually will like that software. So in this case, I'm going to stick with WebStorm, but you can definitely use Visual Studio Code since it's free, so you don't need to invest anything while you still learning. That said, we're not going to need any of those right now. The next software which we will want to actually install would be the XAMPP. The XAMPP is a powerful tool that allows us to run local server environments for web development. So to download that, you can go to apachefriends.org and you could actually download this server, which is technically bundled tool set, which does have quite few things installed. So in this case, Apache Web Server, database, PHP, and Perl runtimes. So basically, a backend per se. So while we going to focus in first series of the tutorial on HTML and JavaScript, we will want to host that application somewhere. So to do that, this is the simplest way to start up. So we're just going to download this here. So I'm just going to download latest version, and it will start in a couple seconds, and we will install this software. So it's downloading it, and we can actually start the installer. And it should start soon. So it's starting up. And I'm just going to click next. I'm going to keep everything, even though we're not going to use Perl, but we want to have all of that so we can actually have it set up for future tutorials later on. So we're just going to keep the default installation path and just click next, and wait until it's going to be installed. So what the XAMPP does, so the XAMPP basically creates a backend environment which serves your application as accessible, in this case in your local network, through localhost. So for example, if I open a new tab and I type localhost here, it will do nothing. Basically it's not working now. But when we're going to install this, it will actually start to have default location for your project, which will be served to a server, which in this case will be your computer. So localhost is basically your computer as a web server. So installation is ended. Now we will need to allow the server to run. This will finalize the installation, and we can open the control panel now. So that should open this window. and we can actually start an Apache server. So when I refresh the page, it actually redirected me to a dashboard, and now we're actually seeing that server is up and running. So in short, if I would go to my computer and XAMPP folder, here we would see that it has a lot of files, and I believe in one of those files, the htdocs. So here we have our application running basically. So for example, if I delete this file, this would break the application beneath that. So we would see that it's not actually working, but we see exactly what's inside of this folder. So since we are not going to use any of those, since this is basically the starter pack and it's not necessary, we're just going to keep it as empty. And that's that. You have fully set up your local backend and frontend server, which we can start on working during next tutorials. So thank you for watching and see you soon.